Inside Memes presents La Vie d'Helen.
On October 14th, 2003, Helen Choi, the most iconic French criminal-turned-pop star artist, was born. She learned how to draw before she learned how to speak. At the age of 2, Helen created the world-renowned Starry Night, which is now on display at the MoMA.
But this was just the beginning of Helen's glamorous, prolific career in art. On a plane ride to Korea at the age of 7, Helen was doodling on a piece of paper when one of the plane's windows suddenly broke, sending the drawing flying out. It landed in California, falling into the hands of a man named Craig McCracken, who liked the drawing so much that he created his own animated show called The Powerpuff Girls, with the drawing subjects as the show's main characters. Unfortunately, Helen was hit by a bolt of lightning on the plane, so she doesn't remember creating the Powerpuff Girls, and therefore cannot take credit for it. However, it did go on to become her favorite show of all time.
A few years later, when Pokemon Company International released their highly addictive mobile game, Pokemon Go, Helen loved it so much that she decided to write and sing a song about it. She ended up going viral at the age of 12 on YouTube, garnering a following so massive, she considered dropping out of school to become a full-time Pokemon Go player and YouTube parodist.
I play Pokemon Go every day. I play Pokemon Go.
Unfortunately, her parents believed her education to be of utmost importance, so Helen's career in music came to a pause.
That same year, Helen moved from her hometown of Oradell, New Jersey to the suburbs of Rivervale, which consisted mostly of trash but which had a few hidden gems. The people she met at Holder Middle School, though eccentric and a little too weird, would become her lifelong friends.
Unfortunately, however, she was forced to say goodbye to 3 of them, as they chose to ruin their lives by going to different, smarter high schools. But she knew she would see them again, so their goodbye was bittersweet, full of both tears and laughter.
I'm gonna miss you guys so much.
I was not expecting you to cry.
When Helen got to high school, COVID happened, so she didn't really do anything except paint The Last Supper in quarantine, which became as critically acclaimed as her earlier masterpiece, Starry Night, and almost as world-renowned as her Pokemon Go song.
By the time college came around, Helen knew that her calling lay in art. She moved to Paris, France to get an education at PCA, the Pokemon card artists, where she spent most of her days creating new Pokemon characters, including Chimecho, her friend Charania's favorite character.
One day, she was sitting around in her apartment in Paris, contemplating whether or not she should start smoking weed, when she suddenly heard a knock at the door. And who else could have been but...
I was visiting my boyfriend over the weekend at his apartment in Paris, but he had to go on a last-minute trip to visit his dad in America, so now I have nowhere to stay. And then I was like, wait, Helen's here! So I searched you up and found out where you live. And is it okay if I stay here for a week or so just until my boyfriend comes back? I really miss you and your art and your chill, down-to-earth personality so much, so in a way, I'm really glad things worked out like this.
Of course you can stay here.
What Helen had kind of not anticipated was how comfortable Conga would make herself in Helen's home. During her time at Helen's apartment, Conga ate Helen's food, drank Helen's alk, slept in Helen's bed, and used up all her spare cash for shopping. By the end of the week, Conga had depleted Helen's resources so much, Helen was left with only 5 euros to her name. Now, Helen was not only broke, but she was also angry.
But Helen had a plan.
Dun, 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 dun.
A few days after Conga had gone back with her boyfriend, Conga called Helen again, asking her to bring some things that she'd forgotten in Helen's home. Upon their meeting, Helen punched Conga so hard, Conga flew into the Louvre, destroying the building and almost everything inside. In the chaos that ensued, Helen snuck into the rubble and extracted Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, scanning the scene for witnesses as she ran away with the painting tucked under her arm.
With the painting in her hands, Helen attempted to sell it on the black market but was caught by the French police and was soon afterwards thrown in French jail.
In French jail, Helen began plotting her escape, but a week after her arrest, her most dedicated fans from her Pokemon Go era came to her rescue.
We're here to break you out of this cell.
By the way, I'm a huge fan of your work.
Thank you.
Because you've been on hiatus for so long, your most dedicated fans have been desperate for new content.
So, in return for saving you from French jail, we ask that you get back into the studio to produce some more Pokemon-themed music.
Inspired by her good friend Leanne's love for the song All Star, Helen returned to the studio and wrote All Star You, a parody of All Star, which became such a sensation among not only her fans but the entire world that when she was finally almost returned to jail after getting caught by the French police for getting into a fight on the metro, the judge decided to let her go because of how much he and his children loved the song.
After the release of All Star U, Helen realized that perhaps Pokemon parody music was another calling of hers aside from art. She went on to produce iconic Pokemon parody songs including Industry Bayleaf, Gollum Style, and Charizard's Whisper, featuring Audrey Coe on the saxophone. Aside from music, she also went on to produce some of the most iconic paintings of our generation, including Girl with a Pearl Earring, Trollface, and this modern masterpiece.
Helen now resides in her mansion in Paris, where she is often visited by her friends
Cindy,
Leanne,
Sharanya,
Isabel, Giselle,
Juby.
Audrey,
wish her a very happy
19th birthday.
The end.